Scientists for many centuries have been trying to unravel mysteries of the natural world. But some phenomena still baffle even the best minds of mankind. It seems that these phenomena, ranging from strange flashes in the sky after earthquakes to rocks that spontaneously move on the ground, do not have a specific meaning or purpose. We hope you will enjoy this video. Here are 10 of the most strange, mysterious and incredible phenomena found in nature. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe and put the like on our video. In the meantime, we are starting. Impossible fossils. Since the theory of evolution was announced, scientists have encountered discoveries that seem to challenge it. One of the most mysterious phenomena was fossils, especially the remains of people who appeared in unexpected places. Fossilized prints and footprints were found in geographical areas and archaeological time zones to which they did not belong. Some of these discoveries may provide new information about our origins. Others turned out to be errors or hoaxes. One example is a 1911 find, where archaeologist Charles Dawson collected fragments of a supposedly unknown ancient man with a large brain, dated 500,000 years ago. The large head of the Piltdown man led scientists to believe that he was the missing link between humans and apes. However, in the 1950s it became clear that the Piltdown man was a hoax. His jaw not only resembled that of a monkey, but actually belonged to it, and the radiocarbon method showed that the human skull was no more than 1,000 years old. Stone balls of Costa Rica. Why the ancient people of Costa Rica decided to create hundreds of large balls of stone is still a mystery. The Costa Rican stone balls were discovered in the 1930s by the United Fruit Company when workers were clearing land for banana plantations. Some of these balls, which had a perfect spherical shape, reached 2 meters in diameter. The stones, which locals call Las Bolas, were dated to 600 to 1000 AD. Further complicating the solution of this phenomenon is the fact that there is no written data about the culture of the people who created them. This was because the Spanish settlers had erased all traces of the indigenous cultural heritage. Scientists began studying stone balls in 1943, marking their distribution. Later, the anthropologist John Hoops refuted many theories that explain the purpose of stones, including lost cities and space aliens. Reign of animals. In January 1917, the biologist Waldo McAtee presented a paper called Organic Matter Rains, which reported cases of falling salamander larvae, small fish, herring, ants, and toads. Animal rains were reported in various parts of the world. For example, in Serbia it rained frogs. In Australia perch fell from the sky. And in Japan, toads. Scientists are skeptical about the reign of their animals. One explanation was suggested by a French physicist back in the 19th century. The winds lift animals and throw them to the ground. According to a more complex theory, water tornadoes suck out water inhabitants, transport them, and cause its falling in certain places. However, there weren't any scientific studies supporting this theory. Return of cicada insects. In 2013, cicadas of the Magicicada septentissim species appeared from underground in the eastern United States, which have not been shown since 1996. Scientists do not know how cicadas learned that it is time to leave their habitat underground after a 17-year-old sun. Periodic cicadas are quiet and solitary insects that are buried underground most of the time. They are long-lived among insects, and they do not mature until 17 years of age. However, in the summer of this year, they woke up en masse to breed. After 2 to 3 weeks, they die, leaving behind the fruits of their love. The larvae are buried in the ground, and a new life cycle begins. How do they do this? How will they know after all these years that it's time to appear? Interestingly, 17-year-old cicadas appear in the northeastern states, and in the southeastern states, the invasion of cicadas occurs every 13 years. Scientists have suggested that this life cycle of cicadas allows them to avoid meeting their enemies' predators. The hum of the earth. The so-called hum is the name given to an annoying low-frequency noise that disturbs residents around the world. However, few people can hear it, namely only 1 in 20 people. Scientists attribute the hum ringing in his ears, the distant crash of the waves, industrial noise and singing sand dunes. In 2006, a New Zealand researcher claimed to have recorded this abnormal sound. Moving stones in the Valley of Death. In the Ray Street Playa area of Death Valley, California, mysterious forces push heavy rocks across the flat surface of a dried-up lake when no one is looking. Scientists have been puzzling over this phenomenon since the beginning of the 20th century. Geologists tracked 30 rocks weighing up to 25 kilograms, 28 of which moved more than 200 meters over a 7-year period. Analysis of stone tracks shows that they moved at a speed of 1 meter per second, and in most cases the stones slid in winter. There were suggestions that the wind and ice, as well as algae slime and seismic vibrations, were to blame. A 2013 study tried to explain what happens when water on the surface of a dried-up lake freezes. According to this theory, ice on rocks remains frozen longer than the surrounding ice, since the stone removes heat faster. This reduces the friction force between the stones and the surface, and they are more easily pushed by the wind. However, no one has ever seen the stones in action, and recently they have become stationary. Ball lightning. Nikola Tesla supposedly created ball lightning in his laboratory. In 1904, he wrote that "I have never seen fireballs, but he was able to determine their formation and reproduce them artificially." Modern scientists have not been able to reproduce these results. Moreover, many are still skeptical about the existence of ball lightning. However, many witnesses, dating back to the era of ancient Greece, claim to have observed this phenomenon. Ball lightning is described as a luminous sphere that appears during or after a thunderstorm. Some claim they have seen ball lightning pass through window panes and down the chimney. According to one theory, ball lightning is a plasma. According to another, it is a chemiluminescent process, that is, light appears as a result of a chemical reaction. Ready to see the top 3? Migration of monarch butterflies. Every year, millions of North American monarch butterflies migrate more than 3,000 kilometers south for the winter. For years, no one knew where they were going. In the 1950s, zoologists began tagging and tracking butterflies and found out that they were in the mountain forest of Mexico. However, even knowing that monarchs choose 12 of the 15 mountain locations in Mexico, scientists still can't figure out how they navigate. According to some studies, they use the position of the sun to fly south, adjusting to the time of day by the circadian clock of their antennas. But the sun only gives a general direction. How they settle down is still a mystery. According to one theory, geomagnetic forces attract them, but this has not been confirmed. Only recently, scientists have begun to study the features of the navigation system of these butterflies. The Nazca Lines. The Nazca Lines, extending over 450 square kilometers of coastal desert, are huge works of art left on the Peruvian plains. Among them are geometric figures, as well as drawings of animals, plants and rarely human figures, which can be seen from the air in the form of huge drawings. It's believed they have been created by the Nazca people during a 1,000-year period between the 500th year before Christ and 500th year Anno Domini, but no one knows why. Despite the status of a World Heritage Site, the Peruvian authorities have difficulty protecting the Nazca Lines from settlers. Meanwhile, archaeologists are trying to study the lines before they are destroyed. At first it was assumed that these geoglyphs were part of the astronomical calendar, but this version was later refuted. Then the researchers focused on the history and culture of the people who created them. Whether the Nazca Lines are a message to extraterrestrials or represent some kind of encrypted message, no one can say. In 2012, Yamagata University in Japan announced that it would open a research center on the site and intend to study more than 1,000 drawings within 15 years. Reports of bright flashes during earthquakes. One of the most mysterious phenomena is the unexplained flashes in the sky that accompany earthquakes. What causes them? Why do they exist? Italian physicist Cristiano Farga collected all the observations of flashes during earthquakes dating back to 2000 before Christ. For a long time scientists were skeptical about this strange phenomenon. But everything changed in 1966, when the first evidence appeared, photos of the Matsushiro earthquake in Japan. Now there are a great many such photos, and the flashes on them are so different colors and shapes that it is sometimes difficult to distinguish a fake. Among the theories that explain this phenomenon are heat caused by friction, radon gas, and the piezoelectric effect, an electric charge that accumulates in quartz rocks when tectonic plates move. In 2003, NASA physicist Dr. Friedemann Freund conducted a laboratory experiment and showed that it is possible that flares are caused by electrical activity in rocks. The shock wave from an earthquake can change the electrical properties of silicon and minerals containing oxygen, allowing them to transmit current and emit a glow. However, some believe that the theory can only be one possible explanation. That's all for today. Dear friends, please put your like and subscribe to the channel if you love the content, and we will make for you the new interesting videos. See you in the next video. We don't say goodbye.